Welcome to Highway Herald, your roadmap to the latest in auto. As the election year shifts into high gear, candidates are tackling contentious issues to gain political mileage. The automotive industry, currently in the throes of a significant transition, is a major pit stop on this route. Donald Trump, often seen as the champion of the working class, has taken several jabs at electric vehicles, EVs, highlighting various concerns from labor impact to financial implications and practicality. By the way, if you're passionate about the automotive world and want to stay updated with the latest trends and controversies, consider subscribing to our channel. Your support motivates us to create more content like this. Let's buckle up and delve into the 7 shocking reasons why Trump is slamming the brakes on EVs. Reason number 7, the high price tag and limited range of EVs. Trump's appeal largely lies in his knack for distilling complex issues into simple terms. Take, for instance, his statement from September, where he argued that EVs are prohibitively expensive and offer limited range. In one fell swoop, he encapsulated the consumer's perspective on the EV dilemma. The truth is, the average consumer isn't overly concerned with emission standards or the broader EV narrative. They care about value, and convenience is a significant part of that equation. Most EVs can travel between 200 and 300 miles on a single charge, falling short of their gasoline counterparts. Unless used for short commutes, EVs can be challenging to own, particularly for long-distance travel. The limited range, coupled with a scarcity of public chargers, can make trip planning a headache, not to mention the time factor, given the relatively slow charging speeds. Reason number 6, the impact of EVs on the workforce. Trump is often viewed as a defender of the working class, so it's no surprise that he frequently highlights how EV production could lead to job losses in the industry. He claimed that a massive shift towards electrification could wipe out 40% of auto industry jobs if America continues to follow the proposed rules of Biden's administration. We believe Trump was referencing a statement by Ford's CEO, Jim Farley, who noted that EVs require 40% less labor to manufacture. While this doesn't necessarily translate to a 40% reduction in industry jobs, it certainly resonated with Trump's supporters, particularly during the peak of the UAW strike. However, Trump omitted Farley's assurance that Ford would offset job losses by producing its own EV parts. We assume other automakers and the government are strategizing to preserve jobs, but some layoffs are inevitable. With such radical changes and ongoing efforts to optimize the EV production process, it's hard to see how companies can cut production costs without eliminating unnecessary jobs. From this perspective, Trump's stance on this issue, populist or not, carries some weight. Reason number 5, the shift of the automotive industry to China. With China being America's primary competitor on the global stage, it's no surprise that politicians use this rivalry to rally their supporters. In the context of electrification, there are indeed reasons for concern. China is at the forefront of the EV revolution, being the largest producer of electric cars and potentially having the most advanced battery technology. Furthermore, China controls a significant portion of the minerals and raw materials used in EV production. This has led many experts to express concern about the potential dependence of the U.S. automotive industry on China. Trump has echoed these concerns on his social media platforms, claiming that EVs are a hoax and that their production will eventually shift entirely to China, leaving millions of Americans jobless. However, while Trump's criticism isn't without merit, many experts view electrification as an opportunity for America to catch up technologically and compete more effectively with China. It's also worth noting Biden's administration's new policy on battery sourcing, which aims to reduce reliance on Chinese batteries. As a result, only 14 models qualify for a federal tax break in 2024, down from over 30 models in 2023. Reason number 4, the California Conundrum. For over 5 decades, California has had the autonomy to set its own emission standards, thanks to the Clean Air Act of 1970. These standards have consistently been stricter than federal standards. Today, California is leading the charge in electrification, and some sources suggest it could soon ban internal combustion cars. For Trump and many Republicans, California has overstepped its original mandate. Therefore, one of Trump's priorities would be to revoke California's ability to mandate EVs. This wouldn't be the first attempt by Republicans to curb California's authority. George W. Bush tried something similar, but the subsequent Obama administration reaffirmed California's right to regulate its own emission standards. California's latest initiative, the Advanced Cars 2 rule, mandates all new vehicles to be all-electric by 2035. There's little doubt that Trump would do everything in his power to halt this initiative should he win the elections. Reason number 3, the end of the tax credit. Biden's administration has been vigorously promoting EVs, aiming for 2/3 of new cars to be all electric by 2032. However, consumers don't share the administration's optimism and have shown considerable resistance to EVs for various practical reasons. This has left the administration with no choice but to offer incentives, the most notable being the federal government's tax credit of up to $7,500 for purchasing qualifying electric cars. The government is even offering a generous $4,000 tax credit for certain used EVs, considering the used EV market is virtually non-existent. On the other hand, Trump has already pledged to reverse the EPA's new pollution rules that led to the aforementioned 2/3 of EVs on the new car market by 2032. While he hasn't specified his plans, it's presumed that one of his key steps would be to cancel the aforementioned tax credit. Furthermore, it's likely that Trump's administration would halt the billions that the current government has promised to automakers to invest in EV technology. Reason number 2, the environmental impact of EVs. Many are unaware of the environmental implications, Trump stated. The disposal of batteries and the extraction of materials for their production have severe environmental consequences. Trump, in his straightforward manner, highlights the paradox of the green movement. The reality is that electric cars aren't as environmentally friendly as some portray. Trump is cognizant that an increasing number of people are recognizing this. The production of electric cars, particularly their batteries made from minerals like lithium and nickel, leaves a significant carbon footprint. The extraction of these minerals often involves aggressive methods and the use of fossil fuels, causing environmental damage. Whether Trump genuinely cares about the global environment is uncertain. However, his claim, though populist in nature, holds some truth. He also underscores environmental concerns closer to home for American citizens. Specifically, the U.S. electrical grid isn't entirely green. In many parts of the country, charging stations still draw electricity from fossil fuels, such as coal and natural gas. This further increases the carbon footprint of EVs, leading us to question their sustainability. Reason number 1, the personal aspect. The feud between Biden and Trump extends beyond a battle for the top spot of the world's largest superpower. It became personal a long time ago, and the animosity has reached a point where they are ready to use anything against each other to win. For Trump, the transition to EVs is a perfect opportunity to score points, as Biden's administration has been making one mistake after another by imposing unrealistic plans that force both automakers and consumers to act against their interests. No one can keep up with the planned transition. Automakers are still years away from producing EVs, while the planned phase-out of internal combustion vehicles only hampers future investments. Meanwhile, consumers are still showing significant resistance due to the apparent disadvantages of EVs compared to gas-powered vehicles in terms of price, range, and convenience. You can label it as populism, but Trump's attacks on EVs make sense. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Highway Herald to stay updated with the latest vehicle updates and upcoming videos. See you next time.